All right, guys, I just want to give you a quick explanation of this assignment to hopefully clear up any things and really emphasize what I'm looking for here. So this is the assignment to wrap up the intermolecular forces part of organic chemistry. And it's meant to be sort of a creative assignment. And you can kind of invest as much or as little as you feel comfortable in it. So the task, it's supposed to be kind of timely. We have all heard that washing our hands with soap and water is one important way of preventing the spread of COVID-19 infection. With your new knowledge of intermolecular forces, so that's what you were studying last week, you can now understand why this works on the molecular level. And if you didn't do the work from last week, I would recommend that you go back and do that. It's going to be difficult for you to do this assignment without having covered intermolecular forces. Your task for this assignment is to communicate why hand washing with soap is an effective way of preventing COVID-19 infection. Use your knowledge of how soaps work and intermolecular forces to explain. Okay, so that was all stuff that was covered last week. So you're just taking that knowledge and you're applying it to a current issue. So I've given you some examples here. I'm going to scroll past this for a second and just explain the format of the assignment. I want you to produce something somewhat visual. Okay, so there's a few options. You could make a video, or you could just have an image that you accompany. If you're more comfortable writing, just pick an image or create an image and then accompany it with some text. Or you can make like a poster or a graphic organizer or a comic. Now, these can be on lots of different mediums. If you want to go with like a straight up just poster that you make on paper, if you have some paper and some coloring materials around, you are welcome to do that. You could also prepare some sort of digital poster. I've linked you to this website, Canva. I use this sometimes to do like graphic organizers or organize pictures in nice ways and stuff. It is free, so you could try that if you want to learn a new platform or if you've used it before. You could also make a video, and it could be just a video you film using a device, and then you send that to me. So that's this option right here, general video. But if you wanted to make it more of like a social media style video, you could do an Instagram post or story or a TikTok. And then you would just send me the links to those. Or if it's an IG story, I'd need you to do a screen recording of it so that I could view it more than 24 hours later. And then the last option is you could make like an Instagram post with just a static photo and then include a long comment to explain it. Or you could do something similar with a tweet. And, or you could just make a Google Doc or a Word doc, have a picture and type up your thoughts on it, or even write them out by hand, and take a picture and upload that. Okay, so those are sort of all the different formats. And also, if you have another idea of a way to submit something that still fits the bill and allows you to give me the information I'm looking for, go wild. And you're welcome to email me and ask if you have any questions. Okay, but I'm trying to give you like sort of open, you can do whatever you want. As long as, and then I'm going to use this rubric down at the very bottom, and I'll talk about that in a second. Let's go back to the examples here though. So there's 3 examples that I've linked. I'm going to trust that you guys can click the links and view them yourselves. I'm not going to play them inside this video. But 3 examples. So the first one, you might have seen this clip. It went around on Twitter a couple weeks ago, of Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, just like explaining why soap works. And it's a very cute video. She's like 6 years old or something. And she's doing like a little science experiment at home. So I think it's very effective, and it's short and it's watchable and it's cute. And that's really good about it. If you were to submit an identical video, besides like probably not being as cute as a 6-year-old, the one place you would lose marks on that is that it doesn't really use any of the scientific terms that we learned last week. Okay, so yours needs to be a little more sciencey than what the young child is showing in this video. Okay, the format is very effective, but just the content needs to be a little more on a grade 12 chemistry level. The second example I've given you is a YouTube video that uses like some pretty intense computer animations to show on the molecular level how soap interacts with a virus particle. So this is a really technical one. So this is much more technical than what I'm looking for from you guys, okay? I just wanted to, what I really like about this video is it uses a lot of the key terms that you were introduced to last week, things like hydrophobic, hydrophilic, molecules. It describes different types of intermolecular forces and talks about micelles. So its use of scientific terms is very good, and I would encourage you to watch this video to sort of reinforce this idea. But I wouldn't want something like this from you because it's too long and it's much more technical than what I'm expecting. I'm looking for something that's more for like a broad audience, okay? Something you could show your family or maybe even a younger sibling and they'd kind of get the idea. And then the last one I've included is this graphic of how to wash your hands. Okay, so I wanted to include one that wasn't a video so you could see kind of what format I'm looking for there. And this is it's a really good set of instructions on how to wash your hands. And it's clever in the way it uses song lyrics. But I wouldn't accept this as like a good submission for this assignment because it doesn't get into the why of hand washing works. It explains how to wash your hands, but it doesn't tell us why. Okay, so take a look at this. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for because of the missing explanation part. Okay, so those are 3 examples. Please review what's good and what's bad about them and to sort of inform what you're going to submit to me. Okay, I've already talked about this part. So you'll be uploading your work to Google Classroom, and this sort of gives you some ideas of how you might do that depending on what format you pick. This, and I just included this link explaining how to do a screen recording using an Apple device, if that applies to you. If you want to do a screen recording and you're using an Android device, I feel like you could probably figure that out on your own, but if you're having trouble, just get in touch and I'll see if I can find some instructional videos for you. Okay? Now, a couple of these ask you to upload in different file formats on Google Classroom. If you're not really sure how to do that, I'm not sure how comfortable you guys are with it. I haven't made a video about how to do that yet, but if you are struggling with it, how to upload a link versus something from your Google Drive versus a file from your computer, please comment on the assignment and I'll include an extra video that goes through that. Okay? And then the last thing I want you to see here is the rubric. Okay, so this is how you're marking. So it's out of 30 application marks, 30 communication marks, broken into these different categories. Okay, so the first application mark, whatever you hand me explains why hand washing with soap prevents COVID-19 infection. And then the second application thing I'm looking for is that you've demonstrated an understanding of how soap works based on intermolecular forces. Okay? For communication, the first one is just like you've created something that's effective in its communication, okay? So you present a scientific explanation in a way that's engaging for a general audience. And there's lots of different formats I'm accepting here, so I'm not going to get into the details of like what each of those looks like. It's just a general, like, did you do a good job? And then the last, communication, this is maybe the most important one for me. Even it's weighted equally with the others, but just in terms of this being a science class, I want you to make sure that you're using scientific terminology effectively, okay? And some words that I expect you to include in whatever you hand in: hydrophobic, hydrophilic, molecule, intermolecular force, micelle. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're comfortable with those words and what they mean before you finish your final project and hand it in to me. Okay, so please comment, send emails if you have any issues or concerns. For some of you, this assignment is maybe going to take, you already did the work last week, so this is going to take like maybe a half hour. You're going to record a quick video and that'll be it. For some of you, you might need to go back and review some of the content for next week to make sure you really understand these terms before you get started. And if you're feeling kind of into this assignment and you want to do like a really solid creative job on it, then you might want to spend a little bit longer really polishing it and making it your absolute best work. Okay, I look forward to seeing your submissions. They're due on Friday. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I hope you have a good week. I'll post probably some new content later in the week, Thursday or Friday, but this is your main focus for chemistry this week.